This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
You can touch it if you want.
Ladies, if you want to meet a man, check your storage closet.
Come on, Kendall. Take off your shirt and go camera shopping at Best Buy.
Good shirtless, not bad shirtless.
Yeah.
Well, it was gratuitous.
Yeah, it was.
I like a good grizzled man sometimes.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about movies of both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel. And
You gonna call for line?
Sense of them. I'm Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, and Happy New Year, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
Happy New Year to you, too. And Happy New Year and hello to Kurt Fitzpatrick.
And Happy New Year and hello to Jason Bowers and Les Kirkendall Barrett.
Hello. We made it. It's 2023.
Woo!
Yes.
And the reason I started laughing is I have another podcast that is on hiatus right now called The Reality Reading Rainbow. And I almost said we were at the Reality Reading Rainbow and caught myself at the last minute.
Oh.
So that's what that was about.
You're on the OG podcast here.
Yes, the OG.
That's right. So what happened on New Year's Eve? Because I did go to that party in Pennsylvania.
Oh, how was it?
I did. Okay, it was in Lansdowne. Does that sound familiar?
Lansdowne?
Is that right?
Lancaster?
No, not
Okay.
Lancaster. No.
Okay.
I think it's called Lansdowne.
Okay.
That was it. It was a fun time. I got a tarot reading. They had a tarot card reader.
Yeah.
What did they say?
Much like Miss Cleo.
What did they share with you? Do you want
yeah.
to share it on the podcast?
I guess so. I'm gonna. I pulled a lot of money cards, so apparently there's money in my future.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Looks like I'm gonna be getting laid.
Good.
What card is that?
It's the getting laid card.
What does it look
I actually
like?
slipped it in the deck myself. That's supposed to happen in June.
Oh.
Around there. But she said I have to do some work.
6 months.
Oh.
At least I got something to look forward to. But no, but she said I got to work for it. I got to do some stuff. It's not just going to come out of thin air.
Okay.
But that's good. And then I'm going to go on a little trip. But the trip didn't sound exciting. I mean, she said you might have to climb up a mountain or go to a beach. It didn't sound all that exciting.
Okay. Well, that does not sound like a bad reading.
No, it was all right.
What did you do, Jason?
I had a busy New Year's weekend. On New Year's Eve, my friends John and John had a party at their place.
I was invited to that
I
party,
know.
but I was traveling, so I couldn't make it.
Yeah. And that was really lovely. It was a great time. And then New Year's Eve night, another friend had like a small gathering in his place, and then we just went out to the bars. And then on New Year's Day, I went to this like daytime dance party thing. It was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Yeah. New Year's Eve. So my husband and I went to France and to the UK over the holiday. And like literally, I sent you guys pictures. In France, I literally on Christmas Eve had a Hallmark style Christmas in the middle of a village in France because they were having like this Christmas tree lighting ceremony / slideshow on the side of a church. And it was amazing. Like seriously, it was like so amazing.
I think we talked about that in the last show, didn't we?
Oh, did we?
I think so.
Oh,
We heard about your perfect Hallmark Christmas.
okay. Well, anyway, so New Year's, I got back on New Year's Eve day.
Okay.
So on New Year's Eve night, these friends of mine in my neighborhood, had a New Year's Eve party, and their New Year's Eve parties are always themed.
Okay, what was the theme?
So the theme this year was the future is fringe. So you either had to come with some kind of fringe or some kind of futuristic costume or both. And
Is this at all related to the Fringe festivals that you guys do, or just they're talking about Fringe on a costume?
Fringe on a costume.
Okay.
These guys have no idea what Fringe is, the festival.
Okay.
But it was cool because the last time they had a party was 2019 going into 2020, and we all know what happened then. So it was good to be back years later, and people kind of pulled out all the stops. It was fun. I had a good time.
Describe your costume. What did you wear?
So I wore... So when I was in England, I got this sweater I got this cardigan, but the cardigan has like a desert scene on it.
Okay.
So I decided to go desertish. So I had a scarf that had a little fringe on it.
Okay.
And I tied my scarf around my neck, and I wore a big cowboy hat and my Western cardigan. And it was good. It worked out. And then my friend, so we got to his place, and my friend said, you know what would get well with that? My friend Marty, because my friends Marty and Martin had the party. So Martin looks at me and says, I like your cowboy hat, but you know what would look better? My leopard skin cowboy hat. So I put on his leopard skin cowboy hat, and it was on and popping.
That sounds like something Blac Chyna would wear.
Right? Oh, totally. Oh, totally.
Or the people in this movie that we watched this week from Lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, I could see the mother wearing it.
Yes. The mother did wear leopard print at one point, actually.
At her daughter's funeral. Yeah. At her daughter's
That's
funeral.
right. It
Well,
wasn't
she's dressed to impress. Those are her mourning clothes. That leopard is also dead.
She's cruising for dates at her daughter's funeral.
The leopard's lucky.
Don't blame her.
Right?
Leopard didn't have to watch this movie.
Okay.
She should get a tarot card reading. Hey, speaking of that, Miss Cleo, your friend was in the Miss Cleo movie, right, Les?
Yes, he was.
I'm Miss Cleo. I've been watching that. I haven't finished watching it, but yeah, you know what it is? I don't like that it demystifies Miss Cleo. I just want to love Miss Cleo.
You know what it taught me? Because this was pre-internet. A, was pre-internet. B, and don't get me wrong, because I was fooled too. It taught me how gullible people really were back then, because when you watch the documentary now, she slips out of her accent a lot.
But I think you're saying that people back then were naive or easily fooled, as if they're not now. I would say that people are just as dumb, if not dumber, in 2022.
I think what the difference is, like now with the internet, she probably wouldn't have been able to get away with it as long as she did.
Or use the stupidity of the internet to amplify it and reach even more people.
True.
And those people were paying like $4.99 a minute.
A minute?
For those calls. Wow.
Yeah.
I never got suckered into that.
And the thing is, I felt sorry for her because she was just basically like an actress looking for work.
I'm Miss Cleo.
And because at first I was like, how dumb was she? Because her contract sucked. But then I was like, but then again, she was like just a working actress. And so even though the contract sucked, it was like money for her.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear that thing that they used to have? I don't think they did this. They used to have these thing called soundboards. And so it was like, one of them was Miss Cleo. So it's a bunch of words and phrases that you could click.
Yeah.
And so so people would use these for phone calls. They would call people and pretend they're Miss Cleo. There's a Miss Cleo one that's just hilarious. Like she calls this older woman. She's like, hello. She's like, hello, how are you today? This is Miss Cleo. And she goes, I'm seeing some forgetfulness and I'm seeing a new baby in the next 3 months. And she goes, you're way off track.
The one that I loved though was the woman who like dated her, and I think they dated for a number of years, who was like, she always used an accent with me.
Well, it's kind of like, you want to believe that Miss Cleo is real. That's like, I keep watching. I'm like, do I want to watch the rest of this? I enjoy the idea of Miss Cleo.
I would imagine if she's doing that character for long enough, it sort of merges into her real life, and that even though the accent is put upon, it starts to become just her normal cadence of speech, so she doesn't even realize she's doing it.
But here's the deal. There were other friends of hers, like her, because how far are you along, Kurt?
About halfway through, but you could just spoil it. I don't care.
So you're at the part. I think you've seen these people. So she had like the women that she dated, but then she had like these friends who were like really good, close friends. Like
there's roommates and stuff. Yeah.
And like the boys, this one woman had boys and the boys were her godsons and they were really close. So while she was dating the woman and used the accent with those people who were her really good friends, she didn't use the accent.
Wow. You know who she's like Hannah Montana. She's living a double life.
Yeah. I had a roommate in college. He lived in Jamaica. A Jamaican man. So he lived in Jamaica, but he wasn't really what the situation was. But anyway, he lived in Jamaica with his family. And so when he talked to me, he talked with like a regular American accent. When he would be on the phone with one of his Jamaican family members, he would start to go into the accent. And when I pointed it out to him later, he didn't even realize that it was happening.
Well, that happens.
Yeah. It's like people that drink that have a Southern accent, but they don't have it when they're not drinking. And then, they drink and they sort of slip back into it from their childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that a lot. Yeah, that happens. That's more common than you think, actually. Well, before we slog on to this movie, do we have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Blac Chyna is being accused of being violent again.
Ugh, it's only a few days into 2023.
Well, this is an article from December 22nd. We had missed this somehow, but this is very important. Okay, it's less than 2 months.
No, we missed this. You are our Blac Chyna reporter, Kurt. Don't put this on us.
How dare you?
Jeez. All right. I missed it. So less than 2 months after being cleared of charges in a battery investigation, RadarOnline.com has learned that she's being violent again. Comedian Gerald Houston addressed an alleged incident in which he claimed the reality star 34 hit him in the mouth after he called her Ari. Houston, who's known for pranking people.
He called her what?
Ari. A-R-I. Ari. Okay, so
maybe Ari, like Ariana?
Ari, I guess. Okay. Ari. Well, A-R-I, Ari.
Okay.
Yes, that's Ari. Okay, Houston, who's known for pranking people, broke down the alleged altercation while talking to Flacco on No Jumper, who asked him if one of his jokes ever went too far. That's what he claimed he was popped in the mouth by Blac Chyna after calling her out of name. Houston was referring to Ari Fletcher. Don't play with me, pussy boy, Chyna could be heard saying on camera. It's important to note that Houston did not have the alleged punch on the video, claiming it was too dark outside to catch Rob Kardashian's baby mama in action.
Oh,
OMG, it's Ari Fletcher. Houston recalled saying to Chyna as she made her way out of the club. The comedian explained why he referred to her as Ari, saying they both got fake lips, fake booties, and fake body parts. According to Houston, that's when all hell broke loose. She immediately squared up to me and hit me in the mouth, he claimed. When he asked her why she allegedly hit him, Chyna reportedly responded, "Don't play with me, pussy boy." He then claimed she grabbed his beard and said, "Play with me again, and I'm going to knock your ass out." RadarOnline.com has reached out to Blac Chyna for comment. Houston didn't specify when the alleged altercation went down, but Chyna recently escaped criminal charges stemming from a separate incident. The ex-Robin Chyna star was alleged of kicking her friend in the stomach after losing her nasty multi-million-dollar court battle with the Kardashian patrons and her famous family. Well, it's RadarOnline.com. It's not finished. Reported in November, the Los Angeles Police Department revealed it was no longer working on the investigation launched against Chyna in May 2022. The incident allegedly happened after Blac Chyna noticed a friend recording her inside a club. I remember that. In recording, a female who sounded like Chyna denied kicking the woman. That's it, man.
See, this sounds kind of suspect because his excuse about it being too dark to get it on camera, that's bullshit. Because I've seen people, especially if it happened out in front of a club, I've seen people like with no lights record something on their phone and have it come through. And a lot of times in front of a nightclub, it's pretty well lit, even at night.
Yeah, it's definitely an allegation.
I've also never heard of Ari Fletcher until now. I had to look her up.
Who is she?
Who is it?
It says she's a social media personality. This is from grandpeoples.com. It says she's a social media personality and model known for her popular Instagram account. She's known for her fashion and beauty content. She's also been involved in reality television and released music. That's the most vague bio ever. She also is the co-founder of KYCHE Extensions, a hair products company.
That's where she's going to make her billion.
And extensions?
Well, she has a following.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she actually has a following, she'll make money doing that for sure. But I had never heard of her until now.
I got to get into the extension business.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on Team China with this one because this just sounds very suspect. It's easy to jump on the bandwagon because her name is out there.
Yeah, despite the fact that I reported that entire thing, I'm on her side too. I don't know if this was a real incident.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, you're a journalist, Kurt, so you've got to report.
That's true.
The news.
I have to be unbiased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I was just biased. So.
Before we start, and we haven't done this in probably a year, I have a June Squibb Report.
What?
And now, it's time for the June Squibb Report. Here's Les Kirkendall Barrett.
So I was flying back from the UK, and so, it's a 10-hour flight. And so, of course, what do you do on your flight back? You watch movies. And June Squibb had a new movie that was on the flight. And the movie was called Family Squares, and it was like one of those Zoom movies that they made over lockdown. And it's about this woman who was dying, and she knew that she was dying. So she met her family over Zoom. And then after she died, she would send them tapes over Zoom and basically fuck with them.
How was she sending it when she was dead?
Oh, because one of her granddaughters would.
Oh, okay.
One of her granddaughters and a lawyer would set it up.
I didn't know she was haunting them or something.
Wait, they're paying a lawyer to do this?
She paid the lawyer to do it.
Oh my God!
Because the character initially it started out she wasn't dead yet, but she was dying, and then over the course of the movie, she died. But then would have the lawyer or the granddaughter send videos to fuck with the family.
June Squibb just needs to get an Instagram account and a Hootsuite account, and she could have put those videos in Hootsuite and just time their release after her death. Just every couple of days, it'll release a new video.
And the thing is, and we kind of discussed this a little bit. It was one of those Zoom movies that was made during the pandemic that weren't that great. And so I didn't have high hopes. And as a matter of fact, I was I'll watch 10 minutes of it. And then just to say I watched 10 minutes of a June Squibb movie for the podcast, and I'll be done with it. I ended up watching the whole thing, and it actually ended up being really good.
Did it prevent you from watching the Punky Brewster reboot? That's all I need to know.
Yes, it did.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you still haven't seen that. Okay, good.
Thank you, June Squibb.
But in this movie, because there was a lot of characters, so it was June Squibb, Margot Martindale.
Love her.
Judy Greer. You know who Judy Greer is?
Yeah, I love her too.
I do, yeah.
So it was all these different character actors, and it was actually pretty good. So Henry Winkler was in it.
Oh.
It was good. Okay. So good for you, June.
Is Margot Martindale elevating projects with her presence now, or is her presence sinking? Because she's also in Cocaine Bear.
Oh, she's elevated. Well, no, Cocaine Bear, everyone that's in that movie is in on the joke. It's a very comedy heavy cast for this horror movie, and it's directed by Elizabeth Banks. They're definitely playing it for laughs in addition to horror. Yeah.
When I saw she was in it, it elevated it for me. But then I see she's in this Zoom movie too. I'm like,
But like
Spreading
I said,
yourself
though,
too thin.
this movie and then who else? Aunt Lydia from Handmaid's Tale.
That's got confusing because I confused Margot Martindale and Ann Dowd.
Well, in this you could, because Margot Martindale had like her short little Margot Martindale do, and Ann Dowd had long hair.
Okay.
So they definitely looked different. But you know,
I'm just excited that when I post this podcast, I can use a tag that I haven't used in a very long time, the June Squibb tag that we have.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, good.
And so, you know, I think this movie kind of survived and ended up being good because they had like good quality character actors.
Yeah, but that sucks when you're at a stage in your acting career where every time you're in a movie you die. I think that happened to Burgess Meredith. He must have knew that, you know, every time they put him in the movie, this character makes it halfway through.
Right.
We wish the best for everyone.
Speaking of making it happen.
Yeah, speaking of that, I have a bone to pick with you guys. You guys have been very mean.
Okay, what?
Oh.
To the people in this movie.
The movie being Lifetime's Are My Friends Killers.
Well, your friend's acting killed me almost.
Which I don't know what the title means because they weren't her friends.
The title made no sense. They changed the title at the last minute. It was originally going to be called, I believe it was called A Killer on Campus, and they changed it at the last minute.
Right mean to that blonde guy. He was trying. Something went wrong with that poor guy.
Something went wrong with the casting.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say of all, and we've watched so many Lifetime and Hallmark movies over the years, of all of the Lifetime and Hallmark movies and beyond that we have watched over the years, this was hands down collectively the worst acting I have ever seen in one of these movies.
Ever.
That's what I'm talking about. I'd
But
say this
to the point where it was enjoyable because it was so bad.
It's a cautionary tale. Look, you have to do your bad acting, get cast in some shitty play that, you know, 14 people are going to go see if you're lucky, and do your bad acting there. And nobody should be filming it. I guess these days everything's filmed. I got to do my bad acting and stuff that no one ever saw. Don't do your bad acting in something where there's actual cameras with film in it.
Every last one of them. Every last one.
In very slight defense to the class of 22 from the Park Ranger School of Acting.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
In slight defense to them, I also think some of this falls on the director and the editor. Because some of this was just like actors waiting around for a scene to start. Like that can all be edited out. That can all be directed. Like, hey, let's start again. Like, get a little zippier as we head into this scene.
Compared to those actors, that Park Ranger was like Sally Field. Seriously.
Well, if we believe Kurt from last week, the Park Ranger is a better actor than Marlon Brando simply because she enunciates.
In the score, she was better than him in the score where he's mumbling and he looks awful. Not better than him in, The Godfather.
This movie, the acting, because I mean, let's face it, when we watch these, Lifetime and Hallmark movies, we see there are actors of different levels, ranging from, Eric Roberts and Annie McDowell to the Park Ranger. And it's normally like a mixed bag a lot of the times.
Like they'll have a Park Ranger in there for a little bit, like, oh, this person's new, let's give them a line or two.
Right.
Or maybe they know the producer or whatever, but this was largely the entire cast.
And it was a ripoff of another movie that we saw, pretty much. I'm trying to remember the movie's name, but this was almost a ripoff verbatim from this other movie that we saw.
Yeah, you know what the acting was like? You remember in The Godfather where the guy
Never seen it. I've never seen The Godfather, no.
Yeah. Yes.
The guy comes in the beginning. Well, Jason's not going to get it. The guy's walking around in the wedding. He keeps rehearsing because he's going to go. He's got to go speak to Don Corleone.
Oh yeah.
I am honored and grateful. I have it in front of me. I am honored, Don Corleone. I am honored and grateful that you have invited me to your daughter's wedding on the day of your daughter's wedding, and I hope that the first child be a masculine child. Jason doesn't know what I'm talking about, but the guy's basically rehearsing, and he sounds like the park ranger a little bit.
Well, it's like if you ever watched the show The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow, her character gets cast in this new sitcom, or she's got an audition for it, and she's rehearsing her lines over and over at night, and she's got this line of I don't want to see that. After a long day at work, I don't want to see that. And she's just rehearsing this line, all these different line readings that she can do.
Aunt Sassy.
Yes.
But
I didn't ask for the anal probe.
Is it? But yeah,
that's from, right?
What?
Passion fish.
Oh.
You guys have seen that, right?
I have.
What's it called?
Passion fish.
Don't know if I've seen that.
It's a John Sayles movie with
Nope, haven't seen it.
Mary McDonnell, who's the woman from
Dances with Wolves. I've never seen it. No.
She was in it with Alfre Woodward was in it.
Okay.
Well, there's a scene in it where this woman just starts giving. I don't know. I'd have to describe the whole movie, but there's a look up on YouTube. I didn't ask for the anal probe. Have at it.
But this movie, you know what? This movie made me angry because you know how I love a snooping movie. Mm-hmm. I love a lady burglar movie. I love like a girl undercover movie. I love a movie with twins when the twins like switch places because then one of them has to have like wacky hijinks in this fish out of water or they have to protect their cover. Mm-hmm. This girl was the worst undercover person I have ever seen. Ever. Like, why don't you just tell everybody everything about what you're doing?
The whole premise of this movie made no sense. And I don't mean like, oh, the wacky twists and turns, like those don't make sense because they never do. And that's kind of the point. I'm talking the overall premise of this movie as to why this girl is at this college made zero sense.
No sense. And and basically, and you know what I wrote? And this isn't even a judgment on people who haven't gone to college, but I wrote in my notes, did this person actually go to college? Because
the writer
wrote the movie?
Because the person wrote the movie. Because one of the big storylines was the fact that she went into the semester late.
Yeah.
I don't care what college you're at, and I don't care how many strings you have to pull. Once the semester started, why couldn't they just make it that, oh, she went in after the Christmas break or something like that?
Yeah, it made no sense that she was starting after the semester had already started. Like I mean, so many holes. And this movie needed about 3 more passes at the script.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, if the movie was set in a high school, that would have been totally plausible. Mm-hmm. Totally plausible. But it's like, you know, college where your semesters are only so many weeks anyway.
Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
So we're at a school. This woman is jogging around a track, Lauren. But not only was she jogging around a track, and not only were there other people like jogging, they were doing like Olympic sports.
Javelin.
Yeah, well, if they do track and field in college, you're doing that kind of stuff.
And I wrote in my notes, okay, wow, this girl looks like she's gonna have a heart attack. And then I wrote a little joke. She's probably running because she ate cake at the Abbey or something.
Hey.
Oh, oops, sorry. Sorry, Kurt.
Very sensitive. No,
I was
don't apologize to me. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So anyway. So she's running, she finishes her run, she has a water bottle, she drinks out of the water bottle, and she makes a face. So whatever in her water was in the water was nasty. So then she puts the water bottle down, and she does have a heart attack. And it is like the most dramatic heart attack ever.
She falls to the ground, and it made me think of how Kurt told us that the Life Alert lady used to do public appearances. And I just thought of this young girl. I was like, she could be because she'll have like years to do that.
Right.
If you get like 20-year-old doing I've fallen, I can't get up. You've got like good 4 or 5 decades doing that.
Yeah, she gave like a Madam Butterfly performance.
Once you hit your 60s and you're doing that, it gets a little sad.
It was
Right.
it was insane that she and the scene leading up to this, there's all these other runners and javelin throwers and stuff around, but the minute she falls super dramatically to the ground, there's nobody else around.
Right.
Everyone's
Nobody.
gone.
In the middle of the afternoon.
Well, you can't stop training. Well, you notice there weren't many people at the college. In any given shot, there may have been one person walking around back there.
Very exclusive school.
Yes.
Right. So then her phone starts ringing.
It was.
and
I think it was the University of Phoenix. Maybe that's what it was. So most of it is
Right.
correspondence.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's online.
Yeah.
So her phone starts ringing, and we find out that that's her best friend, Zoe, and she doesn't answer the phone. We find out that it's Lauren's birthday, or her birthday's coming.
Lauren's the one that had the heart attack.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of exposition in this movie. A lot.
Yeah.
You said there were a lot of words.
Yes, because her leaving the message for Lauren, "Hi, Lauren, it's Zoe, just calling. We've been best friends since 8th grade," and just goes on this whole monologue in this message.
And it was exposition that didn't add to this story, really. We didn't need it. It didn't serve any purpose other than fill time.
Right. So then she keeps on calling her, and supposedly, before they graduated high school, they were inseparable. Then Zoe gets a call from Lauren's mother, who went to the Park Ranger School of Acting.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Right.
She did.
She is the class valedictorian this year.
Uh-huh. And she then tells Zoe that Lauren was dead. And she goes into a lot more exposition. Exactly. And she goes into a lot more exposition about it. And then we're at the funeral. And
She's like, is Laura okay? No, there's no Laura.
Right.
Laura is dead.
And this is when the mom was dressed like she was going out on a date, because she had a leopard skin. She was wearing all black, but had a leopard skin top.
It's a good place to meet some guys.
Yeah.
The way to honor your deceased child is to wear an outfit like you are gonna go and get up in the club.
Right. Because she was ready.
It is honoring her, because that's probably how she ended up conceiving her in the first place.
Perhaps.
She wore that outfit.
We never heard a word about Lauren's dad, and we never heard a word about Zoe's parents.
No.
Because we hear a lot, we start to hear a lot about how, Lauren's got a little more privileged background. Zoe's mom, cleaned houses or something like that, or drove a bus or something. But we never see her parents. Beyond that, we don't learn anything about them.
And especially the way that Zoe ended up at that college.
Yes.
Which we're getting to. Yeah. Because that was a big
life change. Yeah.
Because Laura, the service ends. The mom asks Zoe to talk to her, and so the mother says to Zoe, "Listen, I know you can't," because Zoe's like, "I'm going to community college," and the mom was basically like, "Listen, well, I know that you can't afford college, and I know that you were Lauren's best friend. So what I would like to do in Lauren's memory is I would like to send you to the college that Lauren was going to, and I will pay for your entire education."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much how that's actually how she said it as well. She's like, "Listen, this is what you're going to do." Give her the rundown.
But she framed it as, "I'm doing this in honor of your best friend. I'm going to give you a break because that's probably what your best friend would want me to do."
Yeah. We'll find out later that she had an ulterior motive that she didn't reveal in this moment.
And so this is where we're missing a scene because, you know, maybe her talking even on the phone with her mother, the bus driver, saying, hey, oh my gosh, Mom, I just got this amazing opportunity to go to college.
Yeah.
Well, somebody was helping her pack the car. Remember, they showed like where she lived. It looked like a motel.
Yeah.
Some woman was helping her pack the car.
But she also, I think she even at one point like said, okay, bye, Mom, or something, and hung up the phone and then like put the last thing in the car.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like Mom wasn't even there.
So as, you know, the mother tells Zoe this, and Zoe's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to do this. This is great. And they hug. The mom gives like an evil hug look behind Zoe's back. So I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. The mom's up to something. So then...
even though the mom wasn't being super forthright about why she wanted Zoe to go there, the mom wasn't actually doing anything evil. Why does she give that look there?
Right, because it was just like a very menacing look.
Well, is it menacing, or is it like as she is hugging, she's like, oh my God, my leopard print is too tight.
Right.
I shouldn't have had that bagel at craft services.
Or she's like, what's my next line?
Right, she was uncomfortable.
So then we're at the college. Zoe is walking through the campus with her luggage.
Oh, do we mention how the mother got her in the college? She made a donation and
in Lauren's name.
Okay, yeah.
But again, like we said before we started digging into the movie, that they allow Zoe to go to this college in the middle of the semester. She just like is there, like everyone's already been in classes, everyone's already been in their dorm rooms, and here she is just like, you know, weeks into the semester, like, hey guys, here I am.
Right. And they could have easily just made the story that this is spring semester and she's coming in for spring semester. She, you know, Lauren was there in the fall and died in the fall. And so this spring, Zoe's showing up.
Yeah.
It was like easy and it would make total sense.
Yes.
So nobody's helping. The people at the college are mean because no one's helping Zoe with her luggage. And this is another thing that was weird, too. And this is another thing that made me wonder if this person went to college. Once again, no judgment. Whenever someone would introduce themselves, she was like, hi, I'm Zoe. I'm an accounting major. And then the other one was like, hi, I'm Samantha. I'm a chemistry major. You don't introduce yourself with your major.
No, and it's also not relevant to most conversations.
Right. I mean, I had really good friends in college. I had no idea what their majors were, some of them.
Yeah.
I would
say in terms of the writing of the script, they needed to let it be known what some of these students' majors were because it will be a slight plot point later.
Yeah, a slight plot.
Like the chemistry major thing is a slight plot point, but they reveal it at a really dumb point in the movie because they could have and should have revealed it earlier.
Right, exactly. So she meets Samantha, the chemistry major, and Samantha's actually very nice, very friendly. They're talking, and then Samantha's like, "Oh, well, I'll help you with your bags." And then she asks, so what's your room number? And then Zoe tells Samantha the room number, and then Samantha gets a weird look on her face, but then quickly covers it up and invites Zoe to come to one of their social club meetings. Because Samantha's like, I run this club.
Good for networking.
Yeah. And especially since you're new, it's a good way to make friends. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
at most schools, they call that a sorority.
Right, exactly.
Wait till you hear about this club.
And especially, you know, come on, I love a good sorority bad girl movie or a sorority where one of the initiates has powers and then the bitchy sorority hates her, always played by Morgan Fairchild in the 70s, the bitchy sorority girl. You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say always played by Morgan Freeman.
It's not that kind of sorority. Anyway, so then they go up to her room. The roommate answers the door, and the roommate is very creepy and bitter looking. Ming.
Yeah.
Isn't that the name of a character, Flash Gordon?
Ming, yes, Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
And so Ming lets her in.
This room, it's a college dorm, was like half the size of my apartment. And I have a large apartment for Los Angeles. It was like half, it was huge.
Yes. Yes. And it was a good thing it was huge because that roommate was a bitch. She was not nice at all. As a matter of fact,
we'll come to find out with reason.
But as a matter of fact,
she had her own room for half a semester. She didn't want a roommate now.
Well, but then when she introduced herself and was trying to be nice to the roommate uttered the reality show phrase of phrases. I'm not here to make friends.
Yes.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to study. And Zoe's like, damn, geez, okay.
Lighten up, man.
Right. So Samantha, once again, before Samantha left, told Zoe, well, we're having a little club get together tonight. Why don't you come? So after the roommate was just like an absolute bitch to her.
Well, in being a bitch, the roommate said that her old roommate, you used to want to be friends, but that's, you know, hey, I'm here to, that's when she used her bitchy phrase, but she referred to the old roommate and how the old roommate wanted to be friends.
Right.
Can't imagine who that old roommate was.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm stumped.
It was such a... we can talk about it now because it's not even surprising. Later on, we will find out that the old roommate was Lauren, but Zoe is like floored that nobody told her and that she didn't know this before. Like, you couldn't do the simple math and figure out that, like, oh, there's this open dorm room in the middle of the semester and they moved me into. You didn't figure that part out?
Well, but like I said, Zoe was like a dumb undercover person. Dumb. I mean, like, just dumb. It's like, didn't your parents show you Charlie's Angels as a child? Don't you know the lady detective basics?
In Zoe's defense, she doesn't know she's supposed to be undercover.
Well, but then when she started singing like a canary was after she found out.
Well, yeah.
Because she was just blowing her cover left.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
We have to treasure every moment here.
Okay. So after Ming was so cruel, if I was Zoe, I would have done the same thing. Like, I'm getting the hell out of this room and I'm going to go to the club where at least this girl was nice to me.
No wonder her last roommate drank poison.
Right. Seriously. So then,
hey, don't you get straight A's if your roommate?
I was wondering that.
Yeah,
that's like the old wives' tale on college campuses. If your roommate dies during the semester, you get straight A's and you don't get another roommate. You just get the room to yourself.
That's why Ming was pissed off. She thought she was getting straight A's, and she gets another roommate pops in. She's like, "Oh, fuck, I gotta study now for those exams."
And don't they have to disclose? But, you know,
I would imagine. Again, I guess we're questioning the logic of something that wasn't very well thought out in the writing of this.
So she goes to the meeting and she's checking out Zoe's checking out a guy, and then Samantha comes up and Samantha's all nice, and the guy that Zoe's checking out is named David, and they automatically like each other. And David asks her, hey, do you want a drink? And she's not 21. She's like, I'm not 21. And David's like, well, this is a special kind of club. And we find out that this is basically a club for Nepo babies.
It's like I took it like it was a Nepo baby.
I never heard of that. I guess you're talking about nepotism.
Yeah.
Yeah, the phrase Nepo baby is like super big right now, but it basically means nepotism, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is like, it's supposed to be like a skull and bones kind of society. That's what they were trying to get at with this movie. They just never really accomplished it.
No, because it was...
Yeah. Anyway, you'll see what else. If it becomes an eyes wide shut society too.
Not even eyes wide shut. It was like eyes half closed, and that's one eye.
Eyes half closed and bodies fully clothed.
Right.
Nah, it was wild.
So, but they're really not. But they're all really nice to her. They're all very nice to her. And Zoe meets Chloe, and this is where Zoe tells Samantha, I can't believe that you all are interested in me because, you know, my mom drives a bus and your parents are all these influential people. And David and Samantha were like, no. If you're cool, we're open to anybody as long as they're cool. We don't care.
They're using her to get a bus ride.
And I wrote here.
Oh, go ahead.
And I was going to say the song that they were listening to was called Boom, Boom, Boom in My Room, in My Room.
That's bad music in this movie.
Yeah. There was that song that went boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room so we can make it all night.
They did not get the rights to that song. That was not the song. Was it? Did they ever, in the course of this movie, address why this group wanted Zoe? Like why they honed in on her? I don't think they ever addressed it.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
Because like on paper, it doesn't make sense. They've got all these like kids that like they've got a son of a senator. One of them is the head of the biggest. Their parents the head of the biggest law firm in the state. One's the daughter of a rock star. One's the heir to a large pharmaceutical company. And so like this rando that they meet on campus know nothing about. They want her in this club all of a sudden. It made no sense.
No sense.
I guess it's also strange because wouldn't they kind of want to keep their distance from her
until they know something about her? Because they don't say whether or not they know that she is somehow related to Lauren.
Right.
I don't think they knew that.
No, they didn't because there was no way.
Okay.
So then after the party, David asks to walk her home, and he was questioning, why did you transfer mid-semester? How did you get in? And then he starts to tell her, well, you know, if you become a member of this club, the Select, it's, you know, these are friends for life and you'll have connections for life. And it's just really, you know, cool. And we look out for each other. And then he kisses her. And as he's kissing her, someone is watching.
In a black hoodie.
In a black hoodie, and I'm like, they're back.
I was at when that happened. I was like, okay, I might be on board for this movie after all. I was excited because I wasn't sure if it was a Lifetime movie or if it was an acquisition, but it was Mar Vista, and there's a black hoodie. It's a Lifetime movie.
Now, David, as a gentleman, you suck because he kisses her goodbye, and he leaves her in the dark. Because this is in the dark. He doesn't wait to see that she gets into her dorm safely. Mm-hmm. He just walks away and leaves. And then all of a sudden it gets really dark and she gets scared because she's like, someone's watching me. And she's yelling out, hey, are you watching me? Are you following me? Bad move.
Yeah.
No, what you do is you give her he could at least give her like a matchbook. So she could let it match. She'd have a source of light.
Yeah.
So this next part made no sense.
Gentleman thing to do.
Because Zoe wakes up the next day, she's like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock, I overslept, but it's a Sunday. There are no classes on Sunday.
It was weird because she sort of shot out of bed, saw the time, and it implied, oh no, she's late for something, but it was never addressed in the dialogue that she was running late.
And she had books. She had books with her. So she runs out of the dorm, and Mrs. Price, Lauren's mother, shows up, and Mrs. Price asks asks Zoe, hey, Zoe, can I row with you? And I wrote, you're only paying for my entire college scholarship. Of course you can walk with me.
Yeah. But maybe Mrs. Price was asking, can I walk because I'm wearing these hooker shoes right now, which are like 20 feet tall. She was wearing huge heels.
Because once again, she was ready. She was dressed for a date.
She was asking if she could physically walk, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we find out that the real reason why she paid for Zoe to go to that school is she wanted Zoe to go undercover and find out what happened to Lauren. And
this is where I found this movie a little peculiar. Wouldn't it have made more sense for her to maybe like hire a private investigator. Like that would be a little more efficient, maybe a little less complicated.
That would know how to
cheaper.
snoop by trade?
You wouldn't have to send someone to university for 4 years and pay all our expenses, but you could probably like hire a private investigator for
Charlie's Angels.
Maybe a month.
Yeah. You know, she could have gone to the Townsend Detective Agency, hired, Charlie's Angels, Jill Kelly or Sabrina.
Well, also, like, if you think something suspicious has happened to your daughter, does making your daughter's best friend go in her place? Doesn't that raise a bunch of red flags?
Right.
I feel like you're accomplishing the opposite of what you want to accomplish.
She should have gone back to school. She should have enrolled in school.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. She's a college student.
Like a Drew Barrymore Never Been Kissed scenario.
Now that would have been a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
with this mom. Hey, yeah, I'm going to the quad.
Yes, I look 40, but I'm really 18. Trust me.
Hey, do you guys want to play Hackysack?
Yeah, great.
So then she tells Zoe, and then Zoe's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did this to me, and I don't know if I feel comfortable going undercover like this." And Mrs. Price is like, "Well, you're going undercover, or I'm taking all your money away. So you're gonna do this, or the deal is off."
And I like she threatens her. She's like, "Do this, or you'll no longer be a student at Woodford University." Like, couldn't Zoe just tell everyone, "Hey, this woman had me come here to investigate her daughter's death"?
And the funny thing about this too, because Mrs. Price was basically like, "Zoe, get to work, bitch," and Zoe's like, "I've only been here for 2 days."
Yeah. I not only have I only been here 2 days, I didn't know there was an assignment for you until right now. So I'm not behind because they didn't know there was work to do.
In all fairness, her name is Price, so you must have known. Could have seen something coming there.
So then
there's a Price.
Zoe gets right to work. So she goes to the library and she's looking at an article. And then she leaves, but of course, when she leaves the library, there are no lights in the hallway. It's dark. And she tries to get out, and the door is locked. And we find out that the reason why the door is locked is because it was after hours, and so the guy that worked there locked. He's like, "Well, I locked the door because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to lock the door." She got all mad at him.
That was Adam.
Adam Parker.
Who is but the librarian and a psychology major. Again, introduced himself by saying that. And the fact that he's a psych major never comes in handy in this movie.
Never.
That would have been a good detail to use at some point.
Never. So this is where the insulting snooping begins. So first we are back at Zoe and Ming's dorm, and Ming is snooping, and she finds a letter, and she reads the letter, but it's like bad snooping, and she had bad snooping hair because she just had like a bad ponytail, and so she finds a letter, she reads it, and
it's Zoe's acceptance letter. Why did Zoe bring it with her?
Right, you hide that shit.
Well, you just leave it. Like, why? You don't need the letter to actually get into the school. It's not like a key card.
And then these days, don't you get an email too?
Probably.
So then Zoe comes home and there are flowers from David. And
Ming is judgmental too. She's like, "That was quick."
Right. And then she judges her and then pops pills.
She has anemia.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's like, "Yeah, I got anemia."
And at this point, they should have said some of the side effects of what you take for anemia or what you take, because they have to they explain it later, and there's exposition later about these pills. But this would have been the moment to lay that information out.
And then Ming starts going off on her Do you think that you got the spot in the school because someone died? And then Zoe was basically like, wait, what are you talking about? And then Ming like reamed her out even more. And I'm like, so Ming, if Zoe wasn't at the school last year, how was she, or last semester, or actually a couple of weeks ago, how is she supposed to know?
Right.
This movie also has, I was going to say, this movie also has, it'll have a cut to these really heavy-handed flashbacks, like a quick flashback, as if we don't know what's being explained to us. Like she'll say, like, this Lauren was killed, and then there's this quick flashback of her dying. It's like, well, we don't need to see that.
So then we see Zoe. She's outside. David walks up to her, asks her out to dinner. Zoe's like, no, I've got too much schoolwork. And
she says, I'm not your type. I'm not like a society hottie. No, a sorority hottie. And he says, that's right, you're not. But he means it as a compliment.
Right. But then she ends up going out with him. And yes, Jason, they were at the Aroma Cafe.
Yes, they go to for our California listeners. There's a place in Studio City called Aroma Cafe, and like everyone that lives in that area knows it. I used to live like a block from there,
and I used to meet friends there for coffee all the time. It's a cute place.
It is cute.
His acting takes a nosedive in this scene.
Yes.
He seems like he's really uncomfortable. Like he's antsy. He just keeps moving around. Like he's like physically uncomfortable.
So we've had this guest on the show before. Her name is Jillian Bowe from Daytime Confidential. And a lot of times when they're talking about actors who aren't that good, who are really bad, they basically say they're acting, but you can tell that they don't know where they are. And the names for them is, they call them babies who don't know where they are. He was a baby who did not know where he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there was this one scene that it worked, but it worked in spite of him, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
So then while they were talking, she was like, I guess he was checking himself out in the mirror. And she caught him.
Yeah.
And then they go back to her
He was
room.
cute. In fairness, he was good looking.
No, he was.
He and Adam both were.
Looking.
That's what he's bringing to the table. So
Yeah, he's very good looking.
Yeah. And they like after dinner, they're outside holding hands and they're playing another terrible pop song that we've never heard of before. So bad.
So then they go back to her room. They do the deed.
Oh yeah.
It was the weirdest ramp up to that because there was no romantic tension whatsoever. And they were at first like, oh no, let's not. And she even said like, oh, it's weird my roommate's not here. Like if I thought my roommate were going to come back to the room that I share with them, and I was unsure about hooking up with someone anyway, I probably wouldn't in that moment.
Especially my roommate who hates me.
Yeah.
Who obviously hates me. But they did it.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't even obvious in that scene until it's mentioned later that they did it.
yeah.
Yeah, I kind of missed that.
So then
It did the nasty.
So then the next day, Ming leaves. Zoe snoops. She finds Ming. She looks at Ming's pills. Then she goes into Ming's drawer, and she sees pictures of Ming and Lauren, and they're very friendly. They're like in a photo. It looked like they were in a photo booth or something. Mm-hmm. And so then Zoe confronts Ming with the picture, and she's like, Ming, you knew about Lauren. And Ming's like, well, I saw your acceptance letter. And Ming was like, Lauren was my friend. And Zoe's like, well, Lauren was my friend. And then Ming was like, well, you've been sleeping in her bed. Some friend you are. But Ming just said, Zoe said she didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? So how was she supposed to know that she's sleeping in Lauren's bed? She didn't know.
She didn't. That's what I'm saying. They both Ming and Zoe in this moment treated that piece of information like it was this huge bombshell that should have been super shocking.
Yeah.
We knew it from the beginning.
Yeah. It just math. It made sense that of course that's the room that's available when somebody vacated the campus.
Yeah. So then once again, Zoe's outside. Someone's watching her. We find out it's Adam.
Oh no, wait, we missed Zoe calls Mrs. Price. And Mrs. Price has already threatened to cut her off after 2 days.
Right? It's like Kim Kardashian. Mrs. Price is like Kim Kardashian. Get off your butt and work.
Yeah. The police couldn't do it. You do it. She drives a hard bargain.
So then she runs into Adam. Adam asks
That's not fair either. She didn't know that she had to do that when she accepted all that.
No, she did not. No, she did not. At all. Because obviously, Mrs. Price could have picked better because, Zoe was a bad lady detective.
Well, let's back up. Lauren could have picked a better friend from the beginning.
True.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go that far back?
Yeah.
True.
Yes.
So then Adam asks Zoe out for coffee. She goes to coffee with him. I did like this scene because Adam and Zoe are talking. They run into Samantha and Samantha's like, Zoe! And then she looks at Adam and she's like, oh, hey.
Yeah, not impressed. I don't think they made it to coffee.
That's right. They were walking, I guess.
Well, they were going to go.
Yeah, they didn't go in this scene. Yeah.
But then Zoe said, forget it.
So basically, Samantha kind of cock-blocked him in a way.
Yeah. But then he cock-blocked himself because Samantha is like, Zoe, we're having another party tonight. And tonight's come as your sexy best. It's a sexy party.
They called it the Wildest Desires Party.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
So then
my
Samantha.
Wildest Desires.
Right. So Samantha walks away and Adam tells Zoe, well, you know what? You should stay away from that group of people because they're trouble. And then they mention something about David. And then Zoe says, well, David does know that he's good looking and he does have skills. And then Adam looks at her and the way he talks, he's like, did you sleep with him? And then Zoe's like, were you outside of my room watching me? I noticed someone watching me. Was that you? And then gets
that's a yes. That's pretty shitty though. Like she's going out with this Adam guy and she's like, oh yeah, that David's got some moves.
To be fair, she wasn't going with David as a date. He invited her with the premise of, hey, you look like a use of friend. That's on him. He immediately friend zoned himself.
Yeah.
Adam. Yeah.
Adam did. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. And even if you were watching from the window, you keep that shit to yourself.
He wasn't watching from the window.
But you know what I mean. Even if she's like,
no, she brought it. Now I'm going to defend him. She brought it up, but and so he just questioned, like, oh wait, I thought you were like, I think the thinking was, oh, you should be smarter than that. You should know better than to go with him.
She knows Adam has interest in it too. He had to ask her out.
Oh, she's not dumb. Well, at least not about this.
Yeah, she's talking about this David. Oh, it's hot, David.
She's having a hot girl
ring back at my place. I have to. Oh, no guy wants to hear that.
They were both hot. Adam was hotter. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Adam was hotter. Adam was definitely hotter. Yeah. So then, Adam was definitely hotter. David had good teeth though. So then Zoe goes to the sexy party. Awesome. And she walks in and everybody at this party is just making out.
But before we describe those making out, though, none of them are dressed sexy. Like the guys are in just like normal button-down shirts and khakis. It was basically like they were interns at a Republican convention or something. Like nobody was dressed hot for this party that was described as wildest desire. Like, are people saying, you know what my wildest desires are? A guy that wears Dockers.
And then didn't she? Then Zoe showed up in like a baby doll dress.
Zoe was the only one dressed kind of sexy. Like
kind of. She showed cleavage. That was about it.
This was supposed to be like a sublime, eyes wide shut, deep fantasy party.
Yeah.
And there were like 3 girls dancing in a circle like they were at an 8th grade sock hop.
Yeah, and the set was like, it was clearly like, some sort of, not conference room, but like, some sort of general rec room where they have like a couple of large, like those tall tables, and there was like big corporate tablecloths over them, and like a table with punch. It was so lame.
Right. And then they had to clean up the shit at the end of the dance.
Yeah.
And if that was like a budgetary thing, like this is set in college, even rich kids have like, just shitty beer parties where you have like red Solo cups. Like decorate it like that.
Yeah.
They should have had some freaky people show up. Like this is what these kids think is wild, and some actual freaky people show up and like, I heard this is the wildest desires.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be inserting my tongue up your orifice. What?
I
was here for punch.
I want Ming to show up in this party dressed as a dominatrix.
Right.
Yeah. I would go buck naked and I'll stop there.
And it was funny because
maybe I should be doing that at a college party.
Maybe. Zoe was kind of like, whoa, but she wasn't like that shocked. Even though she was pretending to be kind of shocked, but she wasn't. And David's like, you take it as far as you want. There's no judgment. You do what you want. And then he says, the reason why we do these parties is because this is how we unwind and release stress. We do this once a week because college is so hard.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Looks like...
more frustrating. More frustrated than I was before I came in.
Yeah.
So this is where Zoe starts becoming dumb. So she knows that she's supposed to be investigating this group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she comes out and asks David, because she's like, hey, David, can I ask you something? And David's like, sure, ask me whatever. And then she says, did you know Lauren? And David didn't flinch, right? He didn't flinch, and he was like, no, I didn't know her. But this is where I think he didn't flinch for the wrong reasons. Because I could see him not flinching as a character choice, but I don't think this was a character choice. I just think he didn't know any better and just wasn't reacting to the question.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if this scene was with Eric Roberts and she asked the question to Eric Roberts and Eric Roberts didn't react, I was like, oh, Eric Roberts made a good actor's choice.
Yeah, there should have been a little bit of a fumble in answering that question because he clearly did know her. And Samantha immediately says, oh no, Lauren attended a few meetings. Samantha's fucking stupid too.
Right.
This party is like the Power Exchange in San Francisco. You ever hear of that place?
No. Do they wear pressed khakis to that too?
It's a wild sex club in San Francisco. Power Exchange.
Yeah, there was no Power Exchange here, but
very similar to this situation.
But Zoe did bag an internship at this party because Chloe's dad, the woman named Chloe, because they were Zoe and Chloe. Chloe could just offer Zoe an internship
at the pharmaceutical company, right?
Yeah.
And also, Samantha casually mentions that Lauren's old roommate Ming was a suspect.
Yeah. So so now all of a sudden it's like Ming is like da da da. So the next day, because they work fast in this movie, because at this point, Zoe's probably been there 3 days or 4 days. She's at her internship. And it goes well, and she thanks Chloe for getting her the internship. And then Chloe's like, she's like, I'll return the favor someday. And Chloe looks at her and goes, yeah, you will.
Which Zoe just looks horrified. Like, this is the most shocking thing she's ever heard.
So then Zoe runs into Ming, like, outside. And Ming says to Zoe, listen, Lauren was working on an expose about the Select Club. Mm-hmm. And as Ming is telling Zoe this, Ming gets a text saying, be careful of what you say. So then Ming quickly leaves.
And so at this point, I'm like, okay, if these people from the Select are so powerful that they like are able to fuck with Ming, like, because that number wasn't saved in her phone. She doesn't know who's texting her, but they know that Ming is talking about it in this moment, and they warn her. Then how the fuck did they not know who Zoe was?
Right.
I don't know.
So then Zoe, once again, goes to David, who is enmeshed in the club. He's one of the people who's running the club, and goes to David and is like, do you know that Lauren was a legacy? You idiot. You're talking to the person who runs the club.
Yeah.
You're dumb. I'm so annoyed.
There's a commercial that they kept showing throughout this movie too, where it was something about like self-publishing, getting your book published, and there's a woman who says in this commercial, so she's talking to like she says, so you don't want to be my book agent? And her acting was like on the level of the people in this movie.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Are we sure that this whole exercise of the movie and the commercials and promos in between, are we sure that this wasn't just like a big showcase for the class of 22 from the Park Rangers School?
It could have been.
Like, this is their end of year showcase.
For casting people.
And they're like, sort of like waiting for Guffman. They're just hoping that somebody sees them.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was so mad because I'm like, Zoe, you're supposed to be undercover, you idiot. You're not supposed to reveal that you're snooping to the person running the club, dummy. So then she's at her intern. So then they're at like this coffee house restaurant sort of a thing, and it was Zoe and Chloe. And Chloe's like, listen, Zoe, you're an intern. So I need you.
They weren't at some they were on the campus of the where they worked. They were at work for this.
But it was like in a lunchroom.
Yeah. It was like a cafe or whatever. But it was. It's important to point out that it's at work because of what happens next.
Yeah, there's like a little cafe downstairs as they have in some office buildings. Yeah.
So Chloe's like, listen, Zoe, one of your intern duties is you got to deliver stuff for us. So you see this envelope? Here's an envelope. I need you to go deliver this for us. So dumb Zoe, it's obviously an envelope full of cash. Zoe opens the cash in front of Chloe. You're not supposed to do that when like someone gives you a wad of cash to deliver. You wait until you walk away and then you look at it.
Well, there's nowhere to go. This like drug dealer looking guy just walks in
again to their place of work.
So what's that?
To their place of work. Like she had to deliver it to somebody without having to leave the premises.
Like all Chloe had to do was just walk 3 steps and give it to him if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't lurking or anything. He was standing in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle of the room. And she wasn't even sly about handing him the money.
Right. That's my point. Like, if this is a very large pharmaceutical company, as they claim in the movie, there's probably cameras everywhere just constantly, surveilling things. So they're doing this deal on the premises and in broad daylight on camera, likely.
Right.
Here's a pile of money.
Right.
She should have handed her one of those, like in the Roadrunner cartoons, it'd be like those bags with the big dollars on it.
Yeah. Well, it's like those idiots that will do like drug deals and stuff through Venmo.
Right.
It's like, yeah, let's keep a record of your illegal activity.
Great.
So then Ming's dumb too, because then Ming is studying. David approaches her and threatens her. Right? He's like, you better keep your mouth shut, Ming. So Ming gets up. She leaves. She goes to walk downstairs, and who is coming towards her? A person in a black hoodie. Now, you idiot. When someone in a you're in a Lifetime movie. If someone in a black hoodie starts walking towards you, you run.
Yeah.
Ming just stood there.
To be fair, Ming doesn't know she's in a Lifetime movie.
But still, the person in the black hoodie looked pretty menacing as they're running after her.
Yeah.
I would run from some hooded person. She goes, she says to the hooded person, okay, she goes, okay, you're insane.
Yeah. No, you
that'll
run.
stop the hooded.
It's a person in a black hoodie. You run. Because she's in run, and the person in the black hoodie picked her up and threw her over the balcony.
She fell into the bushes.
I started laughing. It was funny. So I'm like, because you didn't run, you idiot.
It was funny, especially when we find out who was wearing the black hoodie.
Yes. I was like, someone ate their Wheaties.
Yeah, because I did not think that person was that strong. Because the lifting of Ming in that moment was effortless.
Seriously.
Talk about this before that, like a woman gets superpowers when she lifts up her baby's under a truck and she lifts it up.
Well,
that's what happened there. She got superpowers. She was so tired of Ming, she got superpowers and threw her over.
Someone has a good trainer. I tell you that. Okay, so then we have our Lifetime detectives and cops who are very upset that they have to work. Because you know how a Lifetime cop or a Lifetime detective hates to do their job, hates it. And so the detective is bitter, like, how dare you make me come out here and look at this dead body. And so Adam comes walking by, and Adam says to Zoe, well, David killed Ming to keep her quiet. So now Zoe's sad. Samantha approaches Zoe, and what does Zoe start doing? Dumb Zoe starts talking about her internship, and talking about how she delivered a wad of cash. And Samantha even looks at her like she's dumb, and she's like, "Look, idiot, it's not organized crime; it's business. And even if you thought it was organized crime, you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
you keep your mouth shut. Snitches get stitches." So then Adam comes up to Zoe. He apologizes to her. Because also Samantha yells at her too. Like, Samantha's pissed that
she threatens her.
Yeah. So then Zoe asks Adam for help, and then Zoe goes to Samantha's room. Now, what did you think of Samantha's room?
It's fine.
It had columns in it and everything.
I mean, all these rooms. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a nice campus, but even on the nicest campus, the rooms are not like this.
Because she had like this big room, columns in the room. So then Zoe goes to Samantha to her room, and she's like, I'm sorry about yesterday. And then Samantha's kind of reluctantly accepting the apology, but then Zoe's like, hey, let's walk to class together. So before she leaves, she stuffs something. What do you call it? The door jam? What do you call that?
Basically where the doorknob, like the little part comes out and sticks into the other side of the frame at the latch or whatever. She stuffed something in there so the door couldn't close properly.
Oh yeah, this part is also really dumb.
Which is fine. Which is fine that she did that. Where I get pissed is, so her and Samantha are going down. They're waiting for the elevator. And idiot Adam, you wait until they're on the elevator before you go into the room.
Yeah.
No, he was right behind them.
Who taught these kids?
That was a director's choice. That was a director's choice so that we could see them in the frame together. But instead, it should have been like they exit frame immediately as he enters.
Right.
But then he looks through her underwear drawer, like her bras and stuff. I mean,
and judges
there, but by the grace of God, go I. But still,
he did kind of judge it. It was a weird little beat.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. He's like, what? But then he finds pills, right?
Yeah.
Potassium chloride.
With Ming's name on them.
Yes. And then Samantha, they do the proverbial she forgot something, so she's got to go back into her room and get it. So Adam needs to hide. Woo! And so
she forgot her phone. Yeah. So Zoe tries to stop her by saying, "You forgot your phone?"
Right. Like Adam, watch out. They're coming. Yeah. And so I did like that Zoe, like Samantha went and got her phone and then had a weird feeling like something's weird, like somebody's here. But then she left. So then, so Adam finds the potassium chloride. And so I Googled potassium chloride as I'm watching the movie. And yeah, one of the effects of potassium chloride is it can speed up your heart.
Yeah. They should have mentioned that earlier in the movie or had like, when we first saw the pills with Ming, like Zoe looks it up for some reason.
Right.
And so then maybe Zoe's suspecting Ming of something.
So then Zoe runs to the cops, but they're Lifetime cops. So Zoe's like, look, they poisoned her with potassium chloride, and here's the pill bottle right here. And the detective was like, so how did you find out? I now have the bottle in my hand, so this isn't admissible.
I actually side with the Lifetime cop in this particular instance, because the Lifetime cop did say, I actually believe you, which the cop never believes the victim in the movies.
Right.
But also pointed out, like, you don't actually have any proof. All you've done is handed me a bottle. You could have gotten that anywhere.
But then, it's a Lifetime cop, so the cop looked very exhausted. Mm-hmm. She looked very like, how dare you make me work?
It's probably shot late in the day. Hey, guys, if you're interested, you remember where they show Lauren's essay? I got a screenshot of that.
Oh.
Do you want to hear some of this?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. It's called Secret Club Internships and Bribery by Lauren Price. This is what it says. I rise to discuss the merits of secret societies. I believe that persons professing godliness commit a great error when they form an alliance with secret societies. I trust that I am actuated by a higher motive than feelings of personal ill will or unreasoning prejudice. Yet the attitude in which I appear before the public at this time, but I have allowed a conviction of duty to prevail, as I trust I ever shall. I impugn no man's motives, nor is it men that I shall contend against, but principles. You want to hear what this is?
Lauren sounds insufferable.
She really does.
Like, I'm actually now on the side with the killers here. Like, okay, guys, I get it. Yeah.
We should remember that we are playing a part in the drama of human contest that shall be investigated when and where the drapery of human seclusion shall be entirely removed and the character of each person tested not by its apparent but its real worth.
This also wasn't this supposed to be an article for the school paper, like an expose? Yeah, this sounds like a manifesto.
This is a light read.
Wow.
They didn't think we were going to see that.
And wait, so you're telling me that the Select thought this piece of shit was going to take them down?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want my name associated with this article either.
Right. Oh, so then
The article is now written by Alan Smithy.
so then there's another sexy party going on.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Is it sexy? Is it?
No.
I saw two people who were very close to each other
Yeah.
as they were slow dancing. There's slow dancing going on.
But
It's
like
two
with
slow
the-
dances
look-
and a jitterbug.
Look, at these parties, I'm sorry, with that shitty pop music, nobody's getting a boner. Nobody.
Nobody.
I saw a woman's shoulder.
No.
So then
Scandalous.
Zoe shows up. And
Like, this party was chased by Hallmark standards.
Right. And that's saying something. That's saying
Use your
something.
imagination.
So Zoe goes to the party and she's supposedly sexy. And she goes to David.
They had to tell us. It's a bad sign when they have to tell us, you know.
Like, wow. Because he's like, wow, you're sexy. So she starts hitting on David. She's like, David, come with me. I want to talk to you privately. And then she goes to Samantha. And Samantha, you can come and watch too. And so Idiot takes David and Samantha into this back room. And then she's like, tell me the truth about Lauren. And I want the whole truth. And we find out that she was taping everything on her phone. She wasn't wearing a wire. No, she had her phone.
Yeah, it was just like strapped to her leg or something. And Samantha like pulls part of the dress away and sees it right away.
And she lets her
mad.
keep it.
Yes, they let her leave with the phone. I'm like, who are you people? You let her
Like I
leave
said,
with the phone.
They didn't really say anything incriminating though, so I guess that's what happened
But
there.
still, you take
should
the
teach her
phone
a
and you
lesson.
break it.
Throw it out the window. Just like she did Bing. I gave it away.
And so they let her leave with the phone, but then Samantha turns to Adam and she's like, I did it for you. And
To
David.
David. She
oh, no,
turned
see
to
it for
David.
she turned to David. Sorry about it. And Adam was like hiding, and Adam was hiding with his phone, but dumb Adam didn't put his phone on silent.
Yeah.
So they
It,
hear,
it like made a noise when he like hit the record button.
Yeah. It's like, because it's
These
like
people don't
idiots,
play-
when you're snooping, you put
Yeah.
your phone on silent.
Yeah.
Who
These
raised
people don't plan
you?
ahead well.
Who
Adam's really
raised you?
lousy. Yeah.
So they catch Adam, and then Samantha confronts Zoe, and she's like, you know what? Don't punish. If you publish that article, it's basically your word against ours. And then this is where Zoe had the draft that Kurt just read.
Well, it should be pointed out that this big showdown now, because it's like Samantha and Zoe, and we've got like David who's like tied up. This is happening on the track and field from earlier in the movie at night, but the track is fully lit, like the big super bright halogen lights lighting up as they're having this fight about the criminal activity that's been going on this campus.
But not only that, did you notice that Samantha had a costume change? She changed into her hoodie.
Well,
She was wearing her.
Yeah.
full
Well, it
black
is
hooded
cold
outfit.
outside, you know.
a girl's got to be prepared.
Yeah.
You never know when you have to, like, might have
So
to
she
commit
dresses-
murder.
Okay, so she dresses like a Lifetime villain.
She's on the ready.
Well, I guess that's what she is.
So this is the second time. How do I phrase this? Have you guys both seen Glass Onion yet?
No.
No.
Without revealing anything, there was on Glass Onion, there was something that was on paper that actually, you know what? I'm not going to say. I'm not
Okay.
going to say.
All right.
It was similar to what happened what happened here, where
This is kind of a remake of Glass Onion.
well, no.
This came out before Glass Onion. This came out in September.
Glass Onion's a remake
Yeah.
of this.
Sorry, Ryan Johnson.
Right.
We know you've been cribbing Lifetime movies.
Because so Samantha's like, you don't have any evidence against us. It's your word against ours. And then Zoe produced a paper draft because she was like, Lauren always had a draft on paper for her edits, so I have it right here. And then Samantha went, and she's like kind of basically putting it in Samantha's face, and Samantha grabbed it, and it's like, you idiot, that's your evidence that she just grabbed.
Yeah, I don't think she made a copy.
And then,
even if she had, how do you, if you don't have Lauren's computer anymore, or Ming's computer anymore, how do you know that that's actually what Lauren wrote?
Right. So then Samantha and Zoe start duking it out like men. They're like punching each other.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Like beating the crap out of each other. And so Samantha gets the best of Zoe, and she picks up, what do you call those balls? Like, not, it's because the javelin's the stick, right?
It's a shot put.
Yeah.
So Samantha's gonna like hit Zoe in the head with a shot put.
Those things are heavy too.
Yeah. But then the cops show up and stop everything. But then it's 1 year later. And Zoe's starting a new club. And so she's handing out, people are walking by and she's like, hey, join my new social club. And then Lauren's mom, Mrs. Price, shows up.
Before Mrs. Price, we find out that Zoe and Adam are officially a couple.
Yes, they're a couple.
Okay, good.
Then Mrs. Price shows up, and
she shows up to thank her, but like, if you really think about the timeline, it's kind of absurd that she's just now coming to thank her, because all of that other stuff happened 3 weeks into the semester last year. She waited almost a year after putting this girl through this ridiculous exercise to find her daughter's killers.
Right. Like, it's almost like, oh, I forgot to thank you a year ago, so I'm going to show up now.
And Zoe apparently didn't think she was going to keep paying because she got herself a scholarship.
Right, because, Mrs. Price is like, I didn't get the bill this year. And Zoe's like, well, I got a full scholarship, so I don't need you anymore. And then...
Which made no sense. Who the fuck applies for a scholarship when they know they've got a free ride anyway?
Right.
She was afraid she'd have to solve another murder.
And so then, that is a good way to put your way through school. It makes sense.
Now, see, that's a movie I would watch. Is every week it's a new episode, and she's just got to solve a new murder, or else she's gonna lose her college tuition.
Right, and she's got to solve the murder, but then she's got finals. So what is she gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
She has a paper due tomorrow.
Well, she's gonna unwind by going to the most boring sex club ever.
Right. Oh, so then Mrs. Price is like, oh, what's up?
No, I'm just thinking, like, what if a week happens where there's no murder? She starts committing murders so she could solve those murders. She could stay in school.
Well, but she still has finals.
Okay.
She has finals every week.
Yes.
Still to do the work.
Or paper due.
Yeah.
Or a math test. Oh, and so then Mrs. Price is like, she looks at Adam and she's like, he looks like a nice boy. And then Mrs. Price is like, well, let's go to lunch. And then Zoe's like, you're paying. And that was it. I was very underwhelmed. The end.
Are my friends killers?
Yeah, your friend's acting is killing me.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they need a little bit of work. But I do agree. What it comes down to is the director, especially if everybody in the movie if pretty much everybody in the movie is bad.
Everybody.
It's bad. You got it. It falls on the director.
Because
especially when people look uncomfortable in the movie, that's not a good sign.
Which they did. Because isn't it all about the editing at the end of the day, too?
Editing can help.
Because if that's the best they got out of that movie, I hate to see the worst.
Well, I also wonder if this script was already a little thin, so the reason they had those like weird flashbacks and things and allowing those spaces before people would walk into a scene is just a result of they couldn't trim it down anymore.
Could you imagine the blooper reel in this movie?
I think we just saw
I'd
it.
rather.
It's true. You're right, Kurt. Oh my God. Well, what's not a blooper reel is getting a hold of me, where, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on my website at leskirkendall.com. Les Kirkendall Barrett. I forgot one of my names. leskirkendallbarrett.com. That's how offended I was by this movie. It made me forget one of my names. Jason.
Please rate and review us on whatever podcasting platform you hear this show on. Give us 5 stars. It's helping more people find the show, so thank you. We are all on Instagram and Facebook at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast, and I am on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Well, I'm on kurtfitzpatrick.com, and I have I'll be at the Rogue Festival in March. So look up roguefestival.com, I think it is, with my show, The Jester of All Maladies. That'll be the first week of March. And I'll be doing some movie and Oscar podcasts coming up soon in coming months.
And speaking of Rogue Festival, I am now going to be at the Rogue Festival with my show, the Real Black Swan, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen. And next weekend, the weekend of the week of the 10th, I am going to be in Orlando at the Orlando Mini Winter Fest doing my show, The Real Black Swan, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen as well. And if you want to find out information about that, go to orlandofringe.org.
Indeed.
Oh my God. Do you know who I had a little chat with today? Our friend David Rosen.
Oh.
He recommended some movies to me.
Some Lifetime and Hallmark movies?
No, because I was talking about, because I'm on this kick right now, because I watched Glass Onion yesterday, and today I watched The Menu. So I'm on this new kick. I'm loving the new crop of movies that are basically about assholes getting what's coming to them.
Okay.
And so he recommended another movie to me.
What movie? Triangle? Was it Triangle of Sadness?
Yes, that's the movie he recommended.
I've seen it. It's great. It's great.
That's the movie he recommended. It was Triangle of Sadness. So I was like, oh my gosh, David Rosen, hello.
Yeah, if you want to watch a movie where assholes get their comeuppance, definitely watch that one.
So yeah, so then in that
Where's
case,
that available?
Pardon?
Where's that
Apple
available?
TV. Where'd you watch it?
I saw it in theater. And it'll probably be nominated for some stuff, so there will be screeners, I bet.
Oh, so we'll get screeners.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys want to watch movies, so if you liked that, you'll like, because have you guys seen The Menu yet?
Not yet.
No.
The Menu's like that, and that's Glass Onion. Glass Onion's about the same thing, basically. Okay. So, yes. So I guess that's the new trend. Assholes getting what's coming.
I mean, that's what we've been seeing happen in politics this week.
Right? What does it take? What?
I know. I'm loving it.
How many times? What is it going to be, like the 10th time?
Oh no, they've already voted 11 times.
Oh jeez.
It's going to 12 tomorrow.
There's just sometimes you got to just. What did Kenny Rogers say? Know when to fold him.
Right. Yeah. Know when to hold him.
Anyway, I guess that's it. So I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.